told you I found you a perfect match, chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack, and I would add you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Welcome to A Perfect Match. We are here today to talk about Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 22, Double Deuce. I am here, one of your hosts, Jason Reed, and with me today is my co-host, who I will navigate all of our emotions, navigate all of our thoughts. We're going to navigate our navigating in order to navigate the way to talk about this episode. I'm here with Aysha Welch. Aysha, how are you?
Hey, Jason. So are we going to navigate how we're going to feel as we podcast? Are we going to, should we have thought about that before? Or is it something like, okay, we're navigating it as we're doing it? Like we're on the road and we're trying to, we're figuring out where we're going as we're in the car.
We're navigating everything. We're navigating our emotions about continuing to podcast future seasons of Married at First Sight. We're navigating our relationship as podcast partners and whether we want to continue to invest the emotional capital in making sure that we are both emotionally ready and emotionally secure to navigate talking about this show. That's what we're endeavoring to do in order to process, in order to bring a product to market to our listeners that also want to navigate the show.
Okay, I hear you. But I do have a question. So, once season 17 concludes and we're thinking about the future, if we're going to, foster any other shows, or if we are going to, what we're going to do with the perfect match. Look, are we thinking about that? Are we going to look at that through the lens of, oh, we're just going to continue this friendship? Or are we looking at, are we going to continue to be co-hosts? Because I'm hearing that those are two different things.
Well, Aysha, let me throw that back to you, right? So I don't know. How would you feel if, we didn't do another show for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, 9, maybe 2, maybe a year, 2. How would you feel about that? Would that be uncomfortable for you? Would that be something you could commit to?
That feels a bit unfair.
Oh,
That feels unfair, and I just don't know how you can see us as co-hosts if we don't do a show together. Like if we don't podcast about a show together for 8 months. How do you see us as co-hosts?
I just don't know if it would be logical for us to say that we can podcast on another show immediately after this one's over. I feel like just logically and just feasibly, would we be able to do that? Is my question. Is what I have to navigate before the end of this season in probably 6 weeks or so.
I just 6 weeks. Oh my God. I will have to sit on this. This is a lot emotionally.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna have to sit on this.
I'm sorry. It's okay to be emotional, Aysha. It's okay to be emotional. That's what we're here for, to navigate our emotions about continuing to podcast about this show. That's what a conversation is like with them. It's just so much going on.
How do you ever get the truth? No, but see that
you have to parse everything. You have to pick through it, be like, okay, what are they trying to say here? You have to deconstruct every sentence they say and say, how can I narrow this down into what they're actually trying to say?
Yeah. Because we talked about it last, because we're referencing Michael and Chloe for you guys. So my thought is Michael always speaks this way. So you got to learn and adapt to that. But Chloe's new to this. She doesn't do this normally. This is something she has picked up in the past 1 month. So it's tough.
She does sometimes look confused as he's talking, like she's processing it in real time. She's trying to get it through the translation matrix of what he's trying to say in the moment.
Yeah. So we're here, guys, to talk about the show Married at First Sight. Like Jason said, we are on episode 22. I don't know if you should ever be talking about 22 episodes of a show, but here we are.
We're doing it. We're doing the
absurd.
impossible. We're doing the impossible. They said a man couldn't walk on the moon, but yet they did it. Here we are talking about 22 episodes of this season. Yes.
And counting. Make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed, where that's where you can get all the podcasts for A Perfect Match, as well as the Love is Blind season 6 coverage with Jason and Mary. Y'all did a great job this season. Really enjoyed listening. So
I love that feedback. Usually you just say it was fine or it was good. I feel like great from you is a really good compliment. Wow.
I didn't know you were looking for more detailed reviews. Who am I?
Listen, your opinion means a lot to me. I have to navigate how you're feeling about different things. So I appreciate that. I'm going to try and use navigate as much as the word navigate in this episode. It was almost as bad as optics, vulnerable, so much navigating in this episode. Mostly perpetrated by Michael, of course, who is the purveyor of most used words you've ever seen in the MAFS history. But I'm going to attempt to navigate our way through this, and I wanted to navigate through how you felt about our.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, I'll keep that in mind and start giving some more hard-hitting, thorough. That usually I'm telling you, like, you ask me how podcast was that you did. I'm like, I'm texting you to tell you that I will respond. Okay.
I'm really thinking about it, and I'm just gonna let you know that there will be a response coming at some point. I can't tell you when it will come, but it's on its way. I'm really thinking about it.
Right.
Typically, Aysha's critique of my podcasting is you touched your mic too much. That's typically the only response I get from Aysha about my podcasting. Performance.
Guys, I am looking out for your ears. That's
Let me get out of the way now. You hear that? Touch my mic.
He loves it. He loves to do it.
It's a nervous tick I get. I can't help it.
Oh my gosh. But make sure you go subscribe to Love at First Sight feed wherever you listen to your podcast. And of course, if you're seeing us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the RHAP Has a Podcast YouTube channel. But we wanted to shout out a couple 5-star reviews. We are caught up on our Apple reviews. So if you haven't left us a review, a 5-star rating and review, and you really want to, don't hesitate. I love seeing the ones that I've been listening for a while and I'm finally leaving a review. So really appreciate that. This one is from Bengals fan, in parentheses, who day.
I couldn't, in my best judgment, could not read this one for obvious Ravens reasons. I cannot bring myself to read this one. But go ahead. I will take my earbuds out as you read it because I don't want to hear it from a Bengals fan. Sorry.
It's titled Great Podcast. I love the podcast and listen every week. I watch MAFS and love following along. I don't watch Love is Blind, but listen anyway. Great job, both of you.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Not can't listen to the Bengals fan review. They're dirty team. Anyway, moving on. So I mean, our American reviews are all cut up. So I had to go back to my Canada peeps and check in with y'all. It's been a while. It's been a minute. I honestly didn't remember which Canada review we left off on, but I think I found it. But if I missed your Canada review earlier than June of this year, you let me know. But this one is from Burton's Girl. It's entitled Aysha and Jason Give Us Beleaguered MAFS Fans the Will to Go On. If you thought that MAFS, A Perfect Match podcast, was the bomb, well, watching them on YouTube will give you life. Getting to see their playful banter, their facial expressions, and witty chemistry is such a treat. These past 2 MAFS seasons have been slow-moving dumpster fires. If it wasn't for the friendship and chemistry between baller Aysha and salt of the earth, sardonic Jason, we would never have continued to watch this train wreck. Hey, Lifetime, recognize that this unique podcasting duo is saving your MAFS viewership. They are the best around. That's what I'm talking about, Burton's Girl. Great review. Yeah, come on, Lifetime. Get with the program. Recognize our greatness.
Really appreciate it. And then go join us on the Facebook group. We have, I think one day we'll reach 1,000 people. I think we are on our way there.
Well, I mean, listen, there's gonna be a mass exodus soon.
Yes.
Of Love is Blind folks that are just like, what is this?
Maybe
Married
some
at
of
First
them have.
Sight show they're talking about?
Maybe some of them have started watching Married at First Sight. Ever thought about that?
Listen, if you're a Love is Blind viewer that just based on us talking about it on podcast or joining the Facebook group and be like, oh, this show was actually pretty good. Let us know. I'd be really interested to see if there was anyone we actually converted from Love is Blind to Married at First Sight. So I would be really interested in that. Let me know via. I mean, if you're in the Facebook group, let me know via Facebook group. Let me know however,
or leave a review on the Apple Podcast.
There you go.
Yeah, because and we're sorry if we did convert you this season because this hasn't been the best season, but there are better seasons.
I'm liking this season. I don't know what you're talking about. I've come around to this season mostly because of the mess of, and mostly from After Party.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't as juicy this After Party as last week.
I was like, dang, it's not an hour.
Yeah, but they've been serving it, and apparently Becca and Emily are gonna be back on After Party next week to respond to some of these allegations. I don't care about Michael. To respond to some of these allegations, so I am pumped to see that as well. Michael and Chloe Decision Day, I can probably do without it. Becca and Emily back on After Party, give it to me.
Yes. So if you want to join the Facebook group, go look up A Perfect Match Podcast, and this week the password is
inauthentic allegations. Dun dun dun. How dare you? How dare Dr. P is getting so much hate this season. Oh my god.
She's like, all I did was try to come in, help out. I got enemies left and right.
They're coming at me from all sides. Like, whoa.
Oh gosh. They just want her to stroke their egos, tell them they're doing great. You're doing amazing, sweetie. And then walk out the door. She's not about to do that.
She's gonna give you real talk.
Yes.
We're not here to baby you.
Right.
Like Dr. Pepper does now.
So real quick, little housekeeping before we get to the episode. Last week, we talked about the aura photos that Emily and Becca went and did. So what did I do? I found it in Houston. I found someone doing them. It was called Mixed Feels, and they were at a market. It was called Divine Market. They had all these different things in. It was Eureka Brewing Company or something in the Heights in Houston, and they had this market going on. They had people selling like tea and lotions and all kinds of stuff, scents and fragrances, and there was a DJ. It was a lot of going on, but there was this booth for the aura photos. So I went with my sorority sister, Tidra, who does listen to this podcast. So shout out to Tidra.
Shout out.
We went and got it done. So without further ado, I'll share my photo. I did get a reading. It's hard to hear on the podcast. So I'll just kind of summarize what she said, if I can remember. But I don't have a red aura. I have a blue aura. If you're listening to the podcast, it's mostly blue. It has blue, indigo, and turquoise throughout. And so what she told me was, she said that I have guardian angels looking over me. That's what these orbs are. And she said the fact that I have white here in the center of like my neck and above me, that means I'm connected to my higher energy. She also said, like, because of the blue, some of the words were that I am loyal, compassionate, I'm a caretaker, authentic, I'm a dreamer, and I need like a tranquil environment. The turquoise means natural healer, gifted leader. I am a gifted leader.
Yes.
Okay. Calm, self-aware, good listener. And then the indigo is empathetic, intuitive, creative, enlightened consciousness. She said, I'm not influenced by external things. She said she can tell I've done a lot of self-work and I'm ready to give that out to the world.
Oh, wow.
She said, I was like, that's not what we heard from Becca and Emily. So
but she didn't give you any negatives? She didn't give you any negatives?
Well, she said that the blue, she was like, as a fellow blue aura, she said she tends to be a people pleaser. Not that all blue auras are people pleasers, but she just said, be conscious of the boundaries that I set in my life. Like, make sure that I'm setting boundaries and I'm not just saying like yes to everything. And she said there was something to the fact that the color fills up the whole picture. But yeah, I had to put my hands on these like sensors, and the sensor was connected to this box, which was the photo thing. And she took the picture. She was holding it for what, like 15 seconds or something. So it wasn't just like a click.
Did you check the boxes to make sure they're actually something like connected in there? Or are they just like
Yeah,
fake boxes?
did have to start. She did have to like readjust because like when I sat down and like became unplugged. So she was like, "Oh wait, I have to plug it up."
Just gotta make it look good. Gotta make it look real.
So I don't know. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was interesting. We compared to the ladies behind us, and like not only did me and Tidra's pictures look different, the lady behind us picture looked different. And
well, of course, you can't give all the people in the same section of the line the same color. No. They'll catch on to you that way. Come on, you gotta give the it's in sets of like 6. You gotta give the 6 people different colors, so you can start the color over again.
Get out of here. So anyway, I liked it. I would recommend if anybody has an aura photo person near you and you want to check it out and you're curious, I would highly recommend it. I kind of saw it as like horoscopes. Like you could take like you can resonate with a couple of things. I'm like, okay, that feels valid.
Well, Aysha, I have a little bit of a surprise for you. You didn't know this was coming.
Oh, goodness.
I also got my aura read.
Oh, my
okay.
God.
Here you go. For those on the YouTube, you can see. So as you can see from my aura, got a lot of green going on over here.
Okay, let me tell you what that means.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Tell me what it means.
So
I got an interpretation, but you tell me what your interpretation was.
Okay, so green is you have a lot of personal growth. You're going through it. You have a lot of healing going on in your life. You're growth focused. You have some high aspirations, ambitious. You like to teach, and you're adaptable.
What about the layer of black up here?
That there is no black.
So I'll tell you what I was told about my aura. Okay. What my reading was.
Okay.
They told me, let me read my little spiel that they gave me. Green means you are extremely personable, hilarious, empathetic, high emotional intelligence. You know what the people want and you give it to them. Okay. That's what I was told. And then they said this little black layer up on the top here is my extreme pessimism and my negative thoughts and energies. They said you might have to watch out a little bit for that. That is associated with some like mental illness. So I'm gonna have to be cautious of that. But otherwise, that was my aura reading. So I figured it was all the rage. So I get mine done.
And they held it for like 15 seconds for you too.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, all that stuff. The same thing you did was the same thing that happened.
I should have had you describe the setup. Like, what'd you put your hands on?
Yeah, the little block thingies. Yeah, all that stuff.
Oh, well, I'm glad we both participated and did our homework.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to make sure that I got that done because it's definitely legit and definitely not crayon.
And I'm sure it costed the exact same.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had to mortgage my house for it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure
yours is more than mine.
I'm sure you just dipped in your pocketbook. We're like, here you go.
My pocketbook? You're showing your age.
What do you call it?
My wallet? Purse? That's what you're referring to?
What do you think I was talking about? Like a change purse? That's what you thought I was talking about?
Like a wallet.
No, it's pocketbook, purse, handbag. What do you want?
Fanny pack.
I wouldn't think about fanny pack, but okay. But yeah, we both got our auras done.
Wow. Now the listeners know more about both of us.
That's right. I mean, it's like it was anything that is a surprise to anyone out there for mine, of course.
Right. Oh, mine was just newsflash.
I mean, listen. Some of that stuff was like, okay, sure. Aysha, yeah. You say so.
Anywho, that was our homework. So
yep,
you guys, This episode just wasn't that interesting, so we're actually gonna wrap up.
Yeah, we're just gonna head out. We're just gonna go.
Right. Give you a little bite-sized Aysha and Jason court.
You got the gist, right? You're good.
A lot of people haven't though.
Yeah.
You know how many people dropped off from watching the season?
People count on us to really bring the recap. So I guess we can stay and do it a little bit,
I guess.
Yeah.
So what happened?
All right, so we're gonna do this chronological because there was so much interplay between all the couples. So we're just gonna go from the start and work our way to the end. So we start out with Emily and Chloe just taking a stroll. They're walking in the park. Emily talks about how good it is to be back in her place. And but she's like, hey girl, I want to know what's going on with you. How's everything going with you and Michael? Chloe says, we just had our 1 month. She says,
doesn't that feel weird? Like, I feel like we buried the lead. Like Chloe and Emily hanging out.
That is weird. That's like right? All these interactions feel forced by the producers. Like
they were like, we need Orion and Brennan.
Onion installing a light for Brennan. Like what is happening? Brennan hanging out with Michael. Brennan's like, who? Oh, you? Why?
What's your name again?
Yeah, who are you? Is that a skirt you're wearing? What am I doing here? So yeah, Chloe and Emily are put together for some reason. Chloe tells her about the 1 month anniversary. She says, we have really evolved our relationship. Basically meaning, we did the deed. She says, we're full blown married now, and she says, they do like each other immensely, and she is strongly in like with Michael. So talk turns to Dr. Pia, and Dr. Pia, she talks about Dr. Pia accusing them of being authentic. Chloe says, we're not authentic. We just don't care about the little things that we don't align on, like his mom knowing and where we're gonna live.
Just super small things.
Small, tiny things. I don't.
Nothing.
Really
it's so irrelevant.
Yeah, it's just your mother not knowing you're married. Just that's it. Emily, because Dr. Pia has been such a fierce defender of Emily this whole time. Emily sticks up for Dr. Pia. She said, listen, Dr. Pia would not have said this stuff if she didn't have a reason to. Maybe she just wants you guys to push to go deeper and unpack all your deeper issues with each other. Chloe says,
I will say I was happy about this. I was very glad she put her foot down because she could have easily, it's only 2 people, but she could have easily fell into the group think. Like, yeah, like what?
Well, Claire's not around. Claire's not around whispering in her ear, so she had her own thoughts at this moment.
Dr. Pia is bad.
Dr. Pia is the devil. But I will give it to Chloe as well. As mad as she is with Dr. Pia, she keeps the doctor in her name, unlike some people, Brennan, who just drop the doctor altogether. But Chloe's sticking to her gun. She's listen, there's just some battles that you don't need to pick and at certain times, and some that you do need to, and we just don't feel like we need to pick that battle right now with telling his mom. Emily says, she's just Dr. Pia is trying to get you to open up more, and that's what maybe she's trying to get at here. And there's deeper meaning to what she's saying. Emily encourages Chloe to talk more things out before they become bigger issues. Chloe's really mad about this inauthentic thing. She's really
she is. She feels really personally attacked for some reason. It's like, no, that's what y'all were giving. Like Dr. Pia cannot she can't. This isn't a puzzle she needs to figure out, and y'all are giving her riddles to solve, and she's just like, are y'all being real? Like, and she said it. She's like, if y'all are just doing this for the cameras and me, that's fine. I just want to make sure y'all are being real with each other.
Which they aren't. Which the funny thing about this whole episode is Chloe takes such umbrage with this, yet now she's like, oh, well, let me actually talk about some of the things that we need to talk about because you haven't been authentic. You haven't talked about things that we talked about. So Dr. Pia was right. So it's so weird. But then now we flash to Claire. She's doing a diary cam in her car with her dog, Lenny. She's talking about the fact that, she hasn't talked to Cam since the pizza party. She even texted him on his birthday, and he didn't even text back. How dare he not respond to a birthday text? That's capital punishment right there. That's what that deserves.
We did get context on After Party that Cameron had a second procedure for his heart a week before his birthday. So he said he was in and out of the hospital. And he was like, how can she expect an instant response when I've been dealing with this for the past week?
Well, his thing was that she hadn't even checked up on him with the second heart procedure, but now all of a sudden she wants to text him about his birthday so that she can get a moment on camera. She's like, well, I already did the whole heart procedure thing. I already checked up on him a bunch with his first one. I can't do that one again. So let me do the birthday one now. I'll do the birthday. Yeah. Well, I'll feel sad that he didn't text me back about his birthday wish. She says she feels like this was the final straw. She can't give any more energy to this. And he obviously doesn't care about her, and their relationship is over in all forms and all ways. She wanted to reach out to him and chat and hope for an apology, but she got nothing. She says she's aggravated, but she is sure that Cam was not meant to be her husband. She tells her she's going to get back in touch with herself.
In any capacity.
In any capacity.
What? I don't. She's been doing this all season, trying to reshape what a husband could be. Like, maybe he could be a husband to me in this way, or he could be a husband to me in that way. It's like, then you're looking just for a friend.
Well, it's this whole thing, you know, Claire does it, Becca does it. She's like, well, I hoped I get an apology. It's like, okay, I mean, is that all you want? Like, that's all you're reaching out for? You just want an apology first and foremost, and then, you know, that's all you want. That's all you want. Like, I don't know. It's the fact that she's like, well, I was hoping I get an apology. That just sounds so like pompous. I'm just like, okay, but you know, there were many wrongs here. I think you owe an apology as well. But anyway, either way, she wraps this up by saying she hopes to get in touch with herself and do things that she loves to get back to herself, like working out. And she says working out is great. It's really helping her heal.
She was so into working out beforehand. So it's so interesting how people lose that during this process. I know it's like, you know, you're filming and you're doing all these things. You're focusing on a marriage. You've never known this life. But people always sacrifice the working out unless they're not into it, which is interesting because it was, what was his name? Was it Jasmine? Eris. Eris was constantly, Mike too, but Eris was constantly working out. Olajuwon, he stayed at the gym.
They're all about working out. He even took Katina to work out with him, and now that was funny. But I think that's something that falls probably by the wayside with the hectic shooting schedules, with everything else going on, and like you said, unless you're really dedicated to it.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of Stasha. What's her guy's Nate? Mm-hmm. Nate loved to hike, but we never saw him on a hike.
They went on a hike, I think.
They went, yes, they did one, but it was like, it wasn't something that was like as consistent in his routine as it was before. So I don't know. It was just something, it was interesting how like that, like she found out while she was at F45. So.
Gosh. But yeah, then now we're going to Becca. Becca is back at her place. She says, you know, being at her place makes her feel great, makes her feel surrounded by love. She says she has days where she's going through all the stages of grief about the breakup, and they just keep going like kind of on repeat. She does call her mom, and she talks about wondering if she made the right decision. She says, you know, he is human and he made a mistake. You know, even I make mistakes, but she is just wondering if she gave up too quick on things. Mom says, listen, there are two people in a marriage, and trust is a huge component. And, you know, if you say you're going to do something and you're going to work on something, you need to actually do that. And Austin didn't do that. Well, Becca says, well, he did try to work on those things, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. She wonders if her demands are too high and wonders if she can find a guy that is honest and emotionally intelligent, unlike Austin. Mm-hmm. She literally says that. Mom says, you need a partner that is on equal footing with you and that you can trust. She says she wants to let him go so he can find a partner that is better suited for him. She just wants him to be happy. Mom tells her, you know, Becca, I know how hopeful you were, but you guys had a few things that really made you not the right fit, like trust, religion, intimacy. I was like, oh wow, we're going through all the stages of the problem of the relationship. We don't forgot about religion. Religion was a month and a half ago.
Yep.
We got so many other issues that we had. But she says, you know, if Austin Becca says if Austin liked her as much as she liked him, intimacy probably would have been a lot easier. She just feels like their level of like wasn't the same.
Mm-hmm.
Mom says, you deserve someone that loves you as much as you love them. Mom says, so where are you going to go from here? Becca says, I'm just going to eat hot dogs and cry every day, probably. But she's going to really reflect on the ways that she played a part in the failing of this and make sure she doesn't repeat those mistakes. Mom tells her not to hang on to the what ifs. Everything she experienced, she's going to experience in marriage at some point, but she just needs to move on. And, her person won't make her have those doubts. Becca is an amazing person with so much love to give, and she wishes that Becca will find someone worth her time and love, and the family will rejoice when she finds that person. Becca says she just wishes that person was Austin. I said, oh, I was wondering, like, do you really wish that person was Austin, or is it just more convenient that person would be Austin?
The latter, for sure.
Like, I've married the guy. I just wish that this guy that I spent so much time with was the guy. It's not even about who Austin is, because Austin is all those bad things you said. I just wish this was the thing. I wish he was the guy.
It's more so like the thought of getting back in the dating pool is exhausting. It is an exhausting thought. And it's just kind of like, okay. Can I just deal with who this person is? Can I do without the emotional intelligence? Can I do without, all these different things?
Navigate around those things.
Right. And so I feel like she's trying to make it so that like if she were to go back to Austin, that would be her settling because he's not meeting her needs in the way that she wants. And so it would be her settling, and she's trying to paint it to make it look like she wouldn't be settling, because it's like, oh, well, can I appreciate these things? And the same goes the other way, where it's like, I can't even say that Austin would be settling because he hasn't communicated as much the things that he needs, because it's just seemed like if we go based off of Austin's perspective on all this, he would have been fine. Like he nothing would be wrong. Like everything is great. It's like, oh, okay, well,
just gotta hide in the bathroom to vape. It's fine. I can deal with that. It's not a big deal.
Right. So, because I would say, like, if he were the one harping on, like, no, we do need to have the same religion, or, then I would think, okay, if he's trying to be with Becca, then he's settling, because that's not technically what he wants. But he's not communicating what he wants. He seems so indifferent about everything. So I can't blame her for being like, did he even really like me? Because he doesn't, we see how Austin acted when he cared about stuff, i.e. Von Miller. Like, he can get passionate. He can get excited about things. So the fact that he couldn't in this marriage, it's like, y'all just were not right for each other.
Yeah, I just feel like Becca is going to try and justify this. Like, every marriage has its problems, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has this to deal with. It's fine. Like, I can deal with this.
At least we don't hate each other. I can deal with the little lies.
At least it's good that I know that he lies a little, right? That's at least I'm aware. Some other marriages, no one's even aware that the other person lies. At least I have my eyes fully open that he lies all the time.
She's like, and then I can it just keeps me on my toes.
That's good, right? Right?
He tells me something, I'm like, oh, is this the truth or is it not? It keeps things exciting.
Actually, our marriage is better than most marriages. We know that he lies. So, I mean, right? That's good. Becca, come on, girl. So then we get kind of a double date of sorts, I guess. Lauren and her friend get a pedicure, and Onion. You smell that? Oh!
With the green truck.
Oh, it's Onion with his truck. We see Onion helping Brendan install a light. It's like, what in all the contrived?
They could have just come over to have like a beer or something. Like,
but no, we're gonna make Onion
install a light.
We're gonna make Onion put in work, because we all know Onion's an electrician, so this is his job. I wonder if he charged.
Is he really? I had no idea.
Yeah, he's an electrician. That was his whole thing in the beginning of the season.
Like, I knew that.
I know it was so long ago. I know it was so long ago that you forgot he's an electrician.
We've seen no electrician behavior since,
Well, they're showing you now. He's setting up a light for his guy Brennan. Okay, that's called going full circle. That's called going full circle.
Like, oh
I
yeah,
wonder if after you install the light, he's like, and so you'll Venmo me the payment,
right?
Brennan's like, no, this is for the show. I didn't need you to install that light. I could have done it myself.
And then they finish the conversation. He goes up there and uninstalls it.
Well, fine. I'll take this light and go home.
Right.
Brendan already probably had that in his garage, and the producer's like, "Is there something we can do to like a reason for you guys meeting up?" I was like, "Well, I got this light I need to install. Does he want to install that?" They're like,
right.
Perfect. Because it's just so
I'm
weird.
surprised Brennan wasn't like under his breath. Oh, I could have did this. I could have did this.
I don't need you to help me, bro. I'm a bro. I can do this. I can do man stuff.
I'm a big boy.
Yeah, so we do see Lauren meet up with her friend Jade at the nail salon, who, this nail salon, you can tell like the owner of the nail salon was up there at the little stand. He's like, "Hi, welcome to Pure Lux." Yeah, we're on nail salons on TV. It was just like, and the owner and like the co-owner probably standing there like in their Sunday best, like, we're on TV.
Yeah.
We get so much business from this. Listen, this seemed like an Aysha Welch place as well. They get the champagne going while you got your
look. That's a standard.
Rose petals in the little what you call it, the little tub.
Listen, that's a standard these days in nail salons.
Of course,
no
Aysha Welch standard. Aysha Welch standard.
No.
My wife goes gets her nails done, and she does not get champagne while she gets her nails done.
Ask her what the drink options are. There are like literally they say, "What do you want to drink?" And it's either you could get champagne, you can get a mimosa, you can get red wine, you can get a Sprite or Coke. It's included.
Aysha Welch does not understand the common practices of the normal person. Aysha, how much does a loaf of bread cost? How about you don't even know? You don't even look at the prices. You just pick stuff out.
What, like $3?
Oh my gosh, Aysha. Oh my God, $3. Get out of here.
What is it?
I honestly don't know.
Oh my God.
I mean, I will ask my wife. I don't think they serve anything at her nail salon. She goes to a nail salon like a strip mall down the street. She doesn't go to the luxury spa.
They probably offer her something
Welch
to
goes
drink. Something to water.
I doubt it.
Ask her. Just ask
her.
They
probably got like a water cooler in the back. Like, you can get a water cooler, water in the paper cup over there, I guess. It's usually only for employees, but if you're dying of thirst, you're gonna have it, I guess.
See, that's the best hack. If you have a nail salon that serves you drinks, free drinks included with your pedicure, manicure, go there. That's like a pregame to your brunch. So we just go and we get like 2 mimosas. We're good. Go to brunch.
Oh my gosh. I guess that's how Aysha Welch stays Aysha Welch. She does stuff like get free drinks in the nail salon.
Right.
That's how I stay in paper. Yes, but they are getting their pedicures. Lauren, tells Jade about the fact that she hung out with Onion. Jade says, "Well, are you guys still going to be friends?" Lauren says, "Well, the next day after we met up, I kind of sent him a text, kind of establishing a boundary." She reads a text for Jade, but says, "I'm not gonna read you the whole text." I said, "Why? What else did you say?" That's suspicious. I'm not gonna read the whole text. She says, the text basically said there's nothing else left for them to explore in a relationship or a friendship. She says, "Listen, I'll be there for you if you need to vent, but a friendship is not needed." I said, "Dang, that's kind of cold. That's kind of cold." Lauren says, "Listen, it's not like I don't ever want to speak to the guy again, but I just don't want to do this song and dance anymore." I said, that's exactly what this was, a song and dance by Onion, to try and make it look like he's trying to spark some friendship. He's not a bad guy.
No, he's trying, period.
The song and dance is a very good term to use for this.
Look, I'm all about that. I'm all about Lauren's decision to say, like, what's the point of friendship? Because it's like, we are at that age in life, like in your 30s, where it's like, even you should be there in your 20s, but you have to live and learn, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, choose the people around you. If she sees no benefit in Orion being around her, but a constant reminder of this bad experience she had, then it's like, no. Because some people do have a good friendship coming out of it. Like, if I guess like Clint and Gina, like if they hadn't I don't know, the like her dating Mac and stuff. I don't know. I feel like they could have ended on a more positive note, but I do feel like a friendship is doable if you feel like you actually enjoy the person.
Yeah.
There's just no point.
Yeah, she says, well, he texted back and said, thank you for the message. He says he does want to respond with a thorough message. But then that was it. Nothing else after that. And Lauren says, he does that all the time. He says he wants to do things, he wants to do this, he wants to do that, but there's no follow through or effort on his part. In a confessional, she says, she doesn't hate him. She doesn't hate Onion, but she can't do anything with someone that's giving no effort, doesn't stick to his word, and it's kind of been like this their whole relationship. She does tell Jade it's easy to let him go because he isn't someone that she would want as a friend. She doesn't want to be the one putting forth all the effort. Basically saying, "Listen, I got enough friends. I don't need any more friends.
I don't need one that's pushing and pulling, and I gotta wonder, and that's just exhausting."
Yeah, especially friends that give nothing to the relationship. Lauren does say, I have been dating. I've been on 2 very solid dates. She talks about a situation where, one date made her feel very safe and validated. There was a car incident that happened while on the date at like 2 a.m. And the date stayed with her and made sure that she was good, made sure she felt safe in the moment. She said he took care of things. She says, she's not about to get married anytime soon. And dating isn't necessarily that high on the to-do list, but the couple dates that she has been on, she has definitely seen things in them that she wants in a future spouse and someone that will provide stability. In a confessional, she says that she feels like she's got her groove back. This process wasn't fun, and she is a fun person, and she's ready to be fun again. She does tell Jade that this has been a crazy process. It's crazy. I got married at first sight, then divorced at first fight. That's a knee slapper. That's a knee slapper.
It was funny.
So then you get to Onion and Brennan, their whole setup. He's got to install the security light, make sure that Emily doesn't show up in his front yard, try to get him back, try to knock on his door at a drunken night at 2 a.m. trying to get back with him. He got to make sure he can see everything out there.
Crystal clear.
Yeah. So they sit down, they talk after Onion does manual labor for Brennan. Onion does tell Brennan about the text that Lauren sent, basically telling him that she don't want to do this whole thing anymore. Like she's kind of done. He says that's really disappointing because he didn't get the opportunity to smooth things over with Lauren the way that he wanted. Oh, poor Onion. Lauren wronged you so badly by not giving you the opportunity to BS her again and act like you want
literally
to be some part of some sort of friendship in front of the cameras. Oh, I'm so sorry.
So like, they lasted 2 weeks, right? They so it's been 2 months. Oh, Lauren said that. She's like, later in the episode, she said she's been single now for 2 months. How long does it take to try to smooth things over? What are you doing? You're not showing any effort.
Well, here's the thing. Onion's like, they keep asking me to come and freaking film. I wish I would just left it because I don't want to keep coming back and be like, hey, I really want to be your friend. Like every time I got to come on and say, hey, I really want to be your friend. This is the best thing for Onion. And he's like, this is perfect. She has now cut it off, so I don't have to do any other work now. And I can sit here and say, she's the one that cut it off. She's the one that doesn't want a relationship. This is perfect for Onion in Onion's eyes. So Brennan's like, what did you even want in a friendship with Lauren?
He's like, smooth it over with your ex. Why?
Why would you do that? Don't you hate her?
He's like, Onion I could never imagine myself doing that.
Onion says, well, we had really great chemistry. And it's been super frustrating that the friendship never came to be that we were talking about. Onion says it's tough for him to let it go, but the growth he has experienced has helped him realize what he wants in a spouse. For Brennan's part, Brennan says, well, it's going to take me time before I start dating again because, this process has been just so taxing. It's been a lot on me. It's going to take a while. I bet you he got that bartender's number. He's already dating her.
Yeah, right. He's for sure dating at this point.
100%. But yeah, I think this is perfect for Onion because he's like, oh no, she doesn't want to be my friend. Oh, as if he didn't totally ghost Lauren on several occasions and got caught doing it. got caught doing it on camera. I was like, oh crap, this isn't good. Let me go back and act like I want a friendship now.
Yeah, this is, it's so annoying because it's like we can see through it. Who are you doing this for?
Right. It's just like I don't know why he could. Onion just keeps sneaking. Onion he can't stop sneaking. Make my eyes water. And in our next segment with who's Mike gonna hang out with now, we get Austin and Mike this time. This pairing. Austin comes to the boxing gym with Mike. I'm like, why? What is this backpack this man has on? You're not going backpacking across Europe. Like, you know that? Wow, this is weird. Austin's a weird cat. Austin's an interesting guy. But we get to the conversation. Austin says, I just wanted I haven't really worked out through this whole, Married First Sight experience. And I feel like this little boxing thing might be a good routine to start helping you, lose some weight. So they go through the exercises. It's kind of sad on Austin's point. I was like, oh,
and Michael was like, we right before this, he's like, yeah, we've all put on some pounds. Austin's like, you have a 6-pack.
As he touches his muscles, he's like, yeah, we've all. As he takes off his shirt, he's like, we've all had a weight gain from this experience.
Michael's like literally the most fit of all the guys.
Yeah. So they go through some exercises. I noticed that Mike isn't, touching Austin's hips like he was doing with Chloe when
she he was trying to flirt.
Like you gotta really put your hips into it. He didn't do that with Austin. That we saw anyway. So after the fun boxing, Mike says, "So how you been? Are you in a good place to refocus yet?" Austin says, "No, not really. Ever since the pizza party, he's kind of gone into a hibernation state. Work took a hit, and he needs to really process everything emotionally. Each day he pulls himself out of the crappy place he was in, but he's getting there. He's really getting there." Mike asks, but where are things with Becca at this point? Has been any talking? Austin says, no communication of any kind. He's not sure where her head is at, or if she wants anything from him, but she did tell him that, they didn't need to communicate anymore. He does think he's a great girl, and it's hard, and he wants to make everything better. But if they had met under different terms, they really could have worked through their issues. I said, how? How if you had any other different circumstance where you have experts, people asking you about your relationship every day? I think Austin says, if I just didn't have those people bothering us about our issues, we could have just not talked about it at all.
Yeah, we would have been fine. Yeah,
they forced us to keep talking about it, and it just made it into a bigger and bigger thing. If we didn't have those people bugging us about it, she probably would have shut up about it.
Because I'm like, all the issues y'all had that Becca's mom pointed out earlier, religion, intimacy, what was the other thing? Something
trust.
Yeah, that all still exists if you don't have the experts.
It worked out on her own. We could have been fine. I'd have keep just stringing her along, tell her I'm not going to do it again or something, and we just would have been fine. Austin asks how Mike and Chloe are doing. Mike says he's feeling pretty nervous about D-Day coming up, and he's really trying to navigate his emotions and be able to determine if they're in a place where their emotional bond is not only solidified, but can continue to grow at a considerable rate. AKA, I want to figure out if I want to keep being married to this lady. What do you say? Mike says they talked about their future, and if they say yes, but it's really tough because he is starting to have his doubts. It's tough to talk about the future and to think that it could be a no. And he's going to have to defer to how he feels on the day. Throughout this whole episode, Michael is talking about his doubts, how he's not sure, but I never really, through all of his talking, I never really get a definitive why wouldn't you want to be married to Chloe?
Like, where are the doubts rooting from?
Right. What is it that you're doubting? What is the real problem? He just keeps saying he's having doubts. He doesn't know. He's not sure. But I don't get a real reason. I don't get a real thing.
The only tangible thing that he keeps saying is like the fostering children and the he didn't say animal sanctuary this episode, but he just said like their living situation in the future. I think he it's like he's having a hard time articulating that he just doesn't feel that deeply for her.
Yeah, and I think
They
that's the
can't
whole thing.
explain why, and I'm like, because maybe y'all aren't compatible. Like the things that they agree on, he's like, all the major things we agree on that. You know how many people you can find that agree on the major things? Like that's what we have, like, you know, like groups of people in any population because they all share interests. Like,
you're really struggling with that one. Groups
I'm
of
just like,
people.
like people get together based on, like, not couples, but people.
That's why you have Facebook groups.
Yeah, exactly. We all have this shared interest. So it's like the big stuff. We both watch Married at First Sight, so it should work.
You know. And again, it's more vagueness. You know, we agree on the big stuff. Like, what is the big stuff? Are we talking about politics? Are we talking about religion? What are we talking about? I'm not sure. They talk in such vagueness. He talks so much.
Yeah.
It says so little. But I think you hit it where it's just like he just isn't really feeling her like that. He's just like,
I think that's all it is.
It's like, you're cool, but I'm just like,
yeah, like there isn't anything to dislike about you. I'm just not.
I'm not feeling the spark.
Yeah, and
not feeling the crave for you.
And you know, Michael is not the type of guy to bring up a spark. Like, I feel like if Brennan didn't have everything else that he used as an excuse, he would have said there's no spark.
But honestly, Mike is handling this probably the best way that you can if you're not feeling your person. He's still in it. He's still trying. He's not shutting down. Yeah, he's not shutting down. Like, this is the way that.
So you agree he's the best husband?
The bar's in hell, Asia. Yes. He's the best husband of this season. Like, no doubt about that. Hands down, the best husband of the season. He gets the award. It's not a very prestigious award this season, but he gets it. Sure. No, why not? But this is what you should be doing if you're just not feeling it. And he's copying to it, kind of. He's not saying those words. He's like, yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm willing to keep going through this with you. I'm willing to keep opening up. I'm willing to keep trying to have a marriage. This is what you do if you're not feeling it.
And I think internally he's probably also like, okay, I'm not feeling it, but why? Like, what is the reason? Like, why? I have this amazing person in front who, like, he thinks she's amazing, but like, what is it at the core that doesn't spark that feeling for, like, why don't I feel like I want to continue through this marriage? Why don't I feel like I'm in love yet? Why can't I tell her that I love her? And so it's like, I feel like he's still trying to figure that out, like what it is, like what the difference is.
I honestly just feel like their personalities don't match.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael is this very unique person who likes unique things. He likes dressing up uniquely. He likes, a bunch of different interests, fashion and all this. Chloe, the minimalist over here, doesn't really match that. Yeah, she's kind of more, what am I looking for? Not uptight, but she's more like,
she's more corporate.
Yeah, every time she says anything, it does sound like she's giving a presentation to corporate, which is it's interesting. When they have this conversation that's about to come up, it's like in the moment, I'm even saying like, he just feels so like corporate speak. This feels so presentation to me.
It's like she works in corporate and he's a musician.
Yeah,
it's just like,
yeah, it's quirky, and she's kind of plain Jane a little bit.
Yeah, like if this was a Hallmark movie, and Chloe was back in her small town for the weekend, and met Michael, they could hit it off. But this is just not that. Y'all gotta learn how to live together, and you have to learn how to exist in each other's world. And I don't know if they've found that. Like they do these dates, but they're not existing in like each other's lives.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is basically like, she's a nice lady, but that's kind of the best thing I can say. And I've said this before. I said Michael is a young 38 and Chloe is an old 38. Like that's the big problem. Their interests, I think, are probably different.
What are you?
I'm a young 30 something. Not gonna tell you my age. Good try. Nice try. But whatever age I am, I'm a young it. Okay. There are of course ways I'm a young my age, and there are also ways I'm an old my age. Okay. Like
pocketbook.
Okay. pocketbook. That's a thing. Okay, that's a thing.
Yes, I've heard it. It is a thing. I just don't use it.
From your grandma.
Right.
My grandma says that.
She's like, "Can you go grab my pocketbook?"
Grab my pocketbook, baby.
My granny definitely says pocketbook. So
go get my pocketbook. Get yourself a nice hard candy out my pocketbook, baby.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's a big thing. The big takeaway from Michael and Chloe. Just they don't vibe the way they should, the way a married couple would, you know. But yeah, we're now going to go to Emily, and she's talking to her friend Gina, spelled very interestingly.
Yes,
she's on. Yeah, she's on Zoom with her friend Gina, and Emily does tell us, she's going on a trip pretty soon. She and Gina both won a trip at work from. They actually going to Maui, and then they're going to Vietnam. It's basically a classic Emily and Gina mess around trip. She fills Gina in on all the stuff with Brennan, and talks about how stressful it was, and how Brennan kind of spiraled by the end and told her that she's so negative. And she says, that just proves that he didn't know who I was. I'm the most positive person you've ever met. Emily says, she knows that it's a lost cause, it's Brennan, but she's still sad about it. Gina tells her, listen, girl, you need someone that allows you to be who you are and appreciate you for who you are. And it's kind of good that he showed who he is and showed that he is not the one for you. Emily says she's learned a lot of lessons and is excited not to dwell on her trip. This is kind of a pre-healing here. And traveling is what brings her back to center. And she says she's never needed a trip more. She says all she's going to bring is glitter. I said that's classic Emily. Emily does bring up, I thought I was going to share a twin bed. I thought I was done sharing a twin bed with my friend going on trips because I was going to be married. But I guess we're back to that. Gina says, well, actually, I did get one king bed for the room. So, but if you need it, I'll give it to you if you need it. Like, oh, okay. Emily says, no, I'm done with that. I'm not gonna. She begins to say something. And then she switched up. She's like, I'm not gonna. That's probably not TV friendly. She's like, I'm not gonna go off the rails.
Yeah.
So she feels a new sense of self-worth, and her affection needs to be earned. Hooking up in this fragile state with a bunch of guys, she says, will not be good for her in this state, and she just needs a break and to have fun. I said, wow, that was a very interesting insight into Emily, and possibly one of the reasons why Brennan wasn't that into it.
I mean, she was committed to him though.
Before
the cheating.
Was she? Oh,
yeah, before the cheating.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the way that Emily's maybe a little too open sometimes. I think that's probably a big reason why Brendan was turned off, because she probably told way too many stories about her party days and about what she used to do.
And then he just characterized it like, this is who you are.
Yeah, I think that's probably a big reason why he was very turned off. That's just what I think. But we'll probably never know the real reason.
No,
they need to drill into this man on reunion. They need to give all these people truth serum so we can hear the real truth. Like, all right, we very first sight first, we're going to give all of our contestants, all of our cast, truth serum to begin the reunion so we can get the real unvarnished truth. Because I just feel like
they'd have to sneak it to them, because they'd be like, this is the reunion drink. Just like how we have after party drinks, the after party cocktails. This is the reunion cocktail. If you feel different.
Becca's like, I don't drink alcohol. It's like, there's no alcohol in yours, Becca. Just drink it. Do it now.
But I guess there's a lawsuit there. So
lawsuits be damned. Come on.
I don't know. Maybe hook them up to a lie detector test or something. It's just like, it just feels like, especially with this group, with so much of and Rudy gets into this on the after party, is there's so much behind the scenes secret, like this is an on-camera thing, this is an off-camera thing, and it's so like, okay, how do they just get people to be real without having to like conceal this stuff? For one, better match people, because they wouldn't even be in a position to be hiding anything, because they wouldn't have to hide that they don't like a person. But number two, it's just like, I don't know, do they need to have more filming time? Like, how do you stop all this like two separate lives going on?
I think there's never going to be a perfect solution to this type of problem because you can't strap a GoPro on people 24/7. I mean, that would probably be the best way to get
They're
out of
like,
this.
actually, this season, everybody's getting a 3-bedroom apartment. You will have a live-in producer.
Yeah.
Just in case.
They're going to go to work with you. They're going to review
Yeah.
all of your texts and all of your phone calls. Like
Right.
that's what they're going to have to do, is to really just go surveillance on their asses to really just get the full truth and the full tea, because this could be the beginning of a disturbing trend. If
Yeah.
people learn from this on Married First, like, yeah, we can just have like a bunch of, I mean, I think it's about casting open, real people that don't care if their, deficiencies get aired out, because
But
these
that's
people
like
just,
season 1 through 4. It's so
people
hard.
have learned now how to get past all this stuff, and it's about casting people that are real, that are not going to care about the cameras. But that's tough to weed out in the casting process. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we just have to kind of cross our fingers every season to just hope that we get people that are going to keep it real all the time. I just think we got unlucky in this season that we got a cast of so many people that are so secretive, that are so behind the scenes. I think mostly engineered by Claire, probably. But I think
I can figure out how we can work this. I have a plan.
But we got unlucky and lucky at the same token, because unlucky because they did hide it all during the season, but now we're getting lucky because they're letting Cam especially is letting stuff out. I hope
Karen said, I have no more loyalty.
Yeah, I hope the fact that Cam is airing stuff out encourages the rest of them to get it all out in the open as well. That's what I'm hoping. But who knows? So moving on, we get a Michael and Chloe segment. Chloe comes home and Mike is cooking. They have some cute banter about the pets. In a confessional, Chloe says, she has realized that they've really fallen short on communicating the things that really matter to them. And with D-Day coming, she needs to not leave any stone unturned. She talks to Mike and says, yeah, we had about that Dr. Pia conversation. She says, I'm really had a hard time with that. Really felt like my authenticity was being questioned, and I don't like that. Chloe says, there's these things that don't really matter, like your mom, how she's, you talked to me about your mom, how she was uneasy about your first marriage and was actually relieved when your first marriage didn't happen. And she's, we would be doing her a disservice by bringing her in at this point before decision day, before we've actually figured things out. So really, it wouldn't be fair to your mom to let her know about this. I said, okay, justification.
Right. Whatever makes you sleep at night.
Yeah, honestly. Whatever you got to say, however you got to say it. And, he says, yeah, it would be unfair to your mom. Mike says, yeah, exactly. We need to focus on us. And, if we're still together after D-Day, you can definitely meet my mom for sure. Chloe says, I know it's hard to believe that that marriage to a stranger would go so well with no conflict. But I just feel accused of being inauthentic, being fake. And her feelings were really hurt. And it made her question the process. And even made her question Michael's dedication to the process and actually wondering if they were authentic.
It's like, actually, she made me look at you sideways.
Actually, I said, you know what? Michael is being inauthentic. I'm being authentic. Maybe Michael's the problem.
Dr. P is like, I feel like there's some inauthenticity here. She turns to Michael. Are you fake?
You being fake? You hide your feelings? Chloe says the one good thing about Dr. Pia coming and making this accusation is that it made them talk more and communicate, about how that Dr. Pia conversation impacted them. And it made them really kind of look at considering whether or not they should move in together after decision day. Mike says, I don't mind living together, but he doesn't want to compromise what they want in the house just because they're in a hurry to move in together. I said, this is Chloe heard Dr. Pia says, like, all right, let me move real quick to make sure that I'm not labeled inauthentic. We need to move in together immediately.
ASAP.
Just change her tune on a dime.
She said, wait, optics.
Yeah, this is gonna look bad. We gotta move in together now, Michael. Come on. I think Michael senses that. He's like, I'm not moving in with you just to satisfy your, your grudge against Dr. Pia, just to show Dr. Pia you're being real. I'm not gonna do that. This whole episode, Michael, you can tell, was like, yeah, I don't think so anymore. I'm not really into it. And you can tell because he does this whole little hair scrunching thing several times. This is his nervous thing. He's like doing his hair, like scrunching it up, like make sure this is looking good. Let me poof out my my pompadour.
It just feels like it almost. I'm getting the vibe from Michael that he feels like he's he's kind of uncomfortable and he's kind of lost where they are. Like at first they were in the similar place and they knew like, okay, this is early in our marriage. We're excited. We're just trying to figure each other out. We're trying to build our intimacy. And now it's just kind of like, whoa, I'm trying to hold on like to like the cart on the back of like a horse. Just
I think it was cool when they were moving at their own pace, but now it feels like Chloe is quickening the pace, and he's like, okay, this, like you said, is getting we're going a little faster than I wanted to.
Right, like whoa, slow down. We're in a 60. You're going 80.
Yeah, let's slow it down, lady. Let's slow it down. Hit that brake a little bit. And I'm wondering also if it's kind of like they had a shorter, process time. They're probably gonna have like
Brendan and I after party said 4 weeks, but we know it's a little bit more
I think
than
it's
a
probably
month.
more. It's probably more like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So and the process gets shorter. And I think probably D-Day is coming really fast. And I'm like, oh wait a minute, D-Day is in a couple days. Like I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready. And Michael is doing the classic thing that a lot of our people do, is basically treating D-Day as like this is the decision for the rest of our lives.
Yes.
This is the one time we'll get to decide if we can divorce or not. Otherwise,
that option is not on the table beyond that point.
Otherwise, we're stuck together for life.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like this is the big day. When no, you can divorce anytime you want, Michael. It's up to you, sir.
Which is just like, I can appreciate him for taking this seriously.
Oh my gosh. Come on now.
It's like probably the first time I said that about
see past the abs. See past the abs, Aysha.
I can appreciate him for respecting the process and really considering what decision day means. But
of course,
honestly, that's what I was like, when we see Michael and Brennan talk later, I was like, is Brennan actually making sense?
Listen, there's a couple times in this episode and after party, I was like, am I tripping? Or is Brennan like giving some decent advice? But I guess a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yes.
I was like, okay, it just makes me feel uncomfy. That Brennan might be actually saying something that
worth
makes sense.
Something. Yeah.
It's a conundrum. It really is.
Yeah. So so that was it for Chloe and Michael.
That was it. That was all they had to say.
Okay. So we move on to Claire walking her dog with her sister. So we really are at the point where they're just making up scenes. This really feels like, why do we need this?
It's like, you know what Claire said earlier? Have her say it again, just in a different place to a different person this time. I feel like we got that many times this episode. Hey, you know what Becca said to her mom? Have her say it to someone else different now. It's like, okay, I've heard this before.
Yeah. I was like, okay, Claire's sister, who we haven't seen all season. We know she's a triplet. Mm-hmm. And so is this her other triplet?
I have no idea.
So Claire, she's walking her dog Lenny, and her sister's walking another dog, and we find out, like, Lenny has not been with Claire this whole time. She's like, oh, I've missed him this whole time. And she's like, I feel like I've been MIA. And Chrissy's like, yeah, like, ma'am, yeah, you've been married.
You didn't need to be MIA for so long. You could have been, you could have been done a month ago. You could have been back to your life a month ago. Like,
she's like, oh, I've been in the apartment. I've been trying to text Cam. I'm just been busy.
She's like, I've been so busy trying to influence these ladies. I just have had no time. I have to watch them like hawks. I have to make sure that they're hating their men. You know how hard it is for me to do that? You know how much time that takes to whisper in all their ears at the same time?
It's like a second job.
Doing so much work here.
Chrissy asked about, like, okay, what are you thinking about dating in the future? And Claire's like, well, I don't think I'm ready to date anytime soon. She's like, because I really need somebody who can understand me emotionally. And I don't feel like I had that with Cam. She's like, but I do genuinely hope that he finds somebody he clicks with and that he's happy. Because I still respect him as a human being. And she's like, I text him for his birthday. And like, he didn't text back for a really long time. But then he finally texts back, thanks. I like how she tried to downplay the fact that he did respond.
But he just said thanks. Not even an apology. Not even I'm sorry.
Right. He didn't like and it had a period. Okay.
Not even an exclamation point. He wasn't even excited about the thanks.
There were no emojis. He could have sent an audio message saying thanks, but no, he texted it.
He could have sent a GIF.
Do you do audio messages?
No, I hate audio messages. I cannot stand them.
I love them.
Can't do it.
It's so easy to just convey a longer message. Like if it's going to be more than like 3 or 4 sentences, I start recording and do that audio message.
You might as well do a phone call at that point.
Well, no, because it's like, listen on your own time. You do you. I know you're busy. I know you're doing what you need to do. Yeah, I have some friends that we consistently, like, if it's going to be more than a few words, actually, we'll do just an audio message.
Yeah, I can't do that. It's too much like talking on the phone for me. I can't. I don't like, as we discussed last week, I don't like talking on the phone. So too much like that.
And the best is actually like responding in the middle of the message, like with a text, being like, oh my gosh, LMAO. But she says that she does understand that there were mistakes made on both ends. But she really did learn in this marriage, like what she does want and doesn't want in a partner. And her sister Chrissy says, like, she really hopes that Claire does not hesitate, like, getting back out there.
Because, well, Chrissy does that because she's so hot and every guy loves her. It's all right. I don't know about
that's her sister. She's gonna gas her up.
So I can think of like 3 or 4 guys right now that don't love her. Okay.
Oh my gosh. And so we get I'm gonna pull out of a hat. We have Michael and Brennan having a conversation.
Who gets to babysit Michael this time? It's Brennan.
So they're getting dinner, and they're both like, "Oh, this is a really nice place. This is really cool." And so Michael says he wants to pick his brain because decision day is approaching. He says, like, you know, they have all the big things lined up, and he's really trying to work through, like the things that he takes issue with. Still very general, right?
Yeah. Can you tell me what you line up on and what the things that you are, you know, that you don't align on? Can you give me just one of those things? Pop quiz, hot shot. Give me one of them.
Yeah. He said his ideal state, Michael is saying it, his ideal state is to be aligned with her and be emotionally confident in continuing the marriage. So Brennan's like, Michael said, like, if the decision was, do you want to continue dating her? Easy. Yes. That's an easy yes. And Brennan's like, well, are you happy? Brennan's like, yeah, I'm very happy when I'm with her. Brennan's like, cheers, man. Cheers.
Because that's a big deal. Trust me. I wish I was so lucky.
Right.
Well, you like your wife?
Right. Say that's a concept. Michael said that's why it makes it so challenging. And because he knows what they've built at this point. And so he's wondering if this whole journey was like conducive to him being in a place of wanting to continue the marriage. Oh, boy. And so Brendan was like, well, then why not look at it like that? Like you said you would date her. So why not look at it like that? Like treat it as if you would just continue dating her. Brendan said, because I was unhappy and I was sad. Okay.
In case you hadn't heard, I did not like my wife.
He said, I was trying to protect Emily from getting hurt, and I didn't want her to think this is like, you know, she never dated anybody. And so I didn't want her to think this is what a relationship was like.
I did not understand what this was. I said, can you break this down for me, brother? I don't even know what you're saying in this moment.
I think he was trying to say, like, this isn't representative of what a healthy relationship would be.
Because I don't want a relationship with you. Like, is that what he's saying? Like, this is not a real relationship.
He was
so don't think
it was
this
like
is
handling her with kid gloves. Like
that was him handling her with kid gloves?
It's like he also didn't want to be her first breakup.
Oh gosh.
Like, dang, this is her first relationship, and then I'm gonna be the one to end it. Oh, I'm just piling it on.
Brendan the hero.
Right. And so then Brendan says that, like, with him and Emily, they didn't have anything to work on. Like, they didn't have anything to work on to progress their relationship. And so he says, if you have something beautiful you've developed, then, like, you should go for it. He's like, y'all remind us of why we even chose to do this experiment in the first place. He's like, so focus on the good, because if you focus on the bad, you will find it. Mind y'all, this was Brandon who said this.
I said, Brandon, where did this come from?
I said, who is this? I said, are those words coming out of his mouth?
He's like, the script was really good this week for me. I gotta say, they really wrote me very well this week.
He said, I killed it.
Got it. I did like when Brendan says to him, like, well, you said you were happy and you would date her, so why not just continue acting like that? And Michael's like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
like, I'm not gonna listen to that. Like, you're going against what I'm saying, so I'm just gonna say, oh, I guess maybe. Yeah. Whereas like Michael's like, no, I want to dip, so I'm gonna.
Right. I'm like, what? It does make sense. It's like, if you are enjoying yourself, take away it's what the experts always say, take away the pressure of the marriage.
Well, and here's the thing: this isn't Love Is Blind, where at the decision point you have to make this big commitment, which is getting married. You're already married, so the divorcing on decision day or divorcing 3 months later is not. There's no real difference. You're still the same the way you were on decision day as the day after decision day. You're still in the same boat. You're still married. If you decide to stay married, you're still married. Even if you decide to divorce, that's gonna take a while.
Right.
So you're just living your normal life. And these people that act like this is, a life and death decision on this day really trip me out, because it's really not. You're still staying the same status you were yesterday.
Yeah.
There's nothing big that's changing.
Yeah. So it's 5 days until decision day for Michael and Chloe. They are viewing a house. So this is our seasonally episode of House Hunters.
Yeah.
We always get.
I feel like we haven't had this in a while, though. I feel like this is the first time we looked at a house and we've gotten like, this is interesting to me because we hear actual prices. I love hearing what prices of rent are in different places, and what $4,800 a month will get you in Denver.
Yeah, so it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. Michael's kind of cool with it. He likes the rustic look on the outside. He wants the more modern interior. She says it's her taste.
I really feel like Michael's being dragged through this. He was just like, I guess if I gotta do it.
He might as well have been dragging his feet. That's the vibe he was given.
He was almost like Brendan when Brendan visited Emily's house, just like, or no, when Emily visited his house, he's a sourpuss, just like, here and do this. Like, I was made to do this by the producers. I don't be in this stupid house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's fine. Yeah.
So the realtor takes him to the closet. He's like, oh, it's big enough for me. They go out to the backyard. We find out rent is $4,800 a month.
He's just like, that's it?
No, that's high. And so they do say, like, okay, that's what we're paying now plus $500. But I'm like,
he said, so you got your $250? He's like, so we splitting this, right?
But it's like, y'all are paying what you're paying now because you're living on your own. If y'all live together, you could pay way less than that. Like, y'all are paying for 1-bedroom apartments that are probably like a few hundred less than a 2-bedroom.
But this was like it was $500 more than they're both what they pay combined, is what he was saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're thinking of it as,
it's what you pay now. Is what you pay now plus $250 is what he said to her later. He's like, well, basically, do you have an extra $250? I'm saying,
is that realistic? You don't want to keep paying what you're paying now. Well, like, if I'm in an apartment right now and I'm paying, like, I'm thinking realistic prices. I can't even equate it to this rent. If I'm like here, right, and I'm paying like $1,600 for like a 1-bedroom apartment, and then I find someone and they're paying $1,600 for a 1-bedroom, I'm not gonna go look for something that is that combined plus $500. So I have to keep paying $1,600. I'm gonna find something where, we can find a place for $2,000, 2-bedroom.
Well,
Now
yeah,
we're paying
that's
way
ideal.
less. Yeah,
That's
what I'm like,
ideal, but
why are
this
they
house
even
we're
thinking
looking at
like
is like
this?
crazy. And I don't even know, they didn't even ask, they didn't even bring it up to the person showing the house, like, can we keep all our pets here? Like, is that cool? Because this is a rental house. They do have,
Yeah.
those stipulations. So maybe this is the only house they could have that had, the ability to have 5 pets.
Yeah. Yeah. So that just sounded like a lot.
Mhm.
And so he jokes, or I don't know if he's joking, but yeah, he brings up the 250 and she's like, well, are you gonna, you gonna go on a shopping hiatus?
He's always like, no.
Yeah, right. It's like, do I need to do that?
He's like, I don't want to do this, so I'm not giving up my shopping stuff. You giving up all your stuff. This is something you want to do. This ain't what I want to do.
Right. So we get a confessional from him saying he is looking forward to moving in with her, but he doesn't see it happening like anytime soon, realistically. So they sit down to chat, and he says like he thinks that they can find something closer to what they like want to spend, ideally. He's like, and if we say yes on decision day, like he would want to cohabitate, but they're only a 20-minute drive away from each other right now. So he's like, it's really not that bad.
I'd really like to cohabitate with you. He's a 20-minute drive. He's like, it's just a 20-minute drive. No big deal, right?
Yeah. He's like, so what if it takes us 5, 6, 7, 8 months to find an ideal place? She's like, well, that's a little unreasonable.
I
She's
said that
like,
too. I said 8 months. Like,
yeah, that is a while.
he's like, what if it takes us 2 years? What if you say
Right?
we're separate apart 2 years? That's good, right? That's fine.
Like worst case, 5 years.
It's like brings down. He's like 5 years. She's like,
Yeah.
hell no. He's like 4.
Right.
You're like,
Let's
how about 2?
negotiate.
Can I hear a 1? Can you hear 1 year? Can I hear 8 months? 7, 6?
Right.
Stop me when you get into a good spot.
I'm thinking a number between 5 and 10.
Yeah.
She says she knows decision day is coming, and she knows how she feels. So if they are going to stay married and move in together, they need to think about like what that future looks like.
I think in Michael's mind, she is now really putting pressure on this, because I think in Michael's mind, at some point, he could have said, yeah, we'll definitely say yes, but we'll continue to live apart. We'll continue to date and figure out if this is something we want to do. But now, because of the pressure that Dr. Pia put on the relationship, now Chloe's putting pressure on him to make more of a commitment. So now I think that's where a lot of this is coming from. He's like, oh, she wants a lot more than what I was wanting to give, even if it was a yes on decision day. Because I think at a certain point, he's like, yeah, I can say yes on decision day and just continue to date. But now she's talking about moving in together. Then now I'm freaking out. Now this is like getting way too real at this point. So if you're gonna put a bigger label on this than I was thinking, then now I have to really think if I want to continue to do this or not.
Yeah. So then we get the ladies segment and the guys segment. So the ladies are at a drag show. The guys are making bottle openers.
They're making bottle openers with Izzy from Big Brother.
And so the ladies are they all thank Chloe for inviting them. They have a great time.
Chloe's like, see, I like stuff that you wouldn't expect me to like. I like drag shows. I'm cool with all of this. See, I'm good. I'm
like,
hip.
this isn't my first time at a drag show or anything.
I'm hip. I'm cool.
So we go around the table giving updates. So Lauren's first. Lauren said that, she's been single for 2 months now. She does feel like she has closure. She's enjoying life. She said it actually felt like a 6-month relationship. But what she has realized is like her husband was just not ready for married at first sight or ready for her. And so I'll kind of go back and forth between the guys and the girls because it'll just with the couples together. With the guys, one thing to note is Cameron was not there. And so Orion, so on the other side of the Lauren and Orion of it all, Orion said he's been trying to smooth things over. He feels like a conversation needs to happen or is not happening. And he's still trying to wrap his head around that message that she sent. He has not responded. He did tell her he is going to respond, but he has not given that response that he promised. The girls were flabbergasted about, she's like, I texted him. He told me I was going to respond.
I would love to see the whole message, but what is the response to that? Like, I feel like I'd be like, okay, thanks. Just leave it at that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, respond based on your level of care. If he doesn't care, then he would say that. But if he actually cared to address what she's saying, then he'd be like, oh, this is a conversation that we need to have.
I feel like he feels compelled to also give her a whole page response because she came at him with a whole page. Like, he feels obligated to give her that same level of response because I feel like that's what it is. I feel like it's just like, she wrote me something long, so I gotta write something long back, I guess.
I don't know. I just feel like he just doesn't know what to say.
I also feel like Onion is probably similar to Michael, as he says way more than he needs to say. Mm-hmm. Same thing. I feel like Lauren and Onion are similar in that case.
Mm-hmm. So Becca says she doesn't want to cry, and she's about to give her update. She's been going through a grieving, healing, and mourning process. She just can't tolerate dishonesty in a relationship. And so it was hard after, because he wasn't even trying to apologize after everything. So she feels like she's gotten closure.
Is this where she says she knows that she's going to lie in her marriage?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, she says she at one point says she can't abide dishonesty in her marriage, but then she also says
she's saying like, oh, everybody makes mistakes, but it's the how you recover from it is that matters.
Yeah, but she literally said she knows she's going to lie in her marriage. It's like, what? Like what kind of lie are you talking about though? Like, we talking about I watched Survivor without you, like when we're supposed to watch it together, or are we talking about, I cheated on you the other day? It's like, what lies are we talking about? What level of
fib? Or
yeah, what level of lie is Becca talking about? Like, I know I'm going to lie in my marriage. That's such an odd thing to say.
Yeah, because I mainly heard the part of the, like, you're gonna make mistakes, and she's like, she's trying to say she's okay with making mistakes, like with him making mistakes, but the fact that he didn't even try to come back and like make up for it.
Yeah, I found that part to stick out to me. It's just, I know I'm going to lie in my marriage. That's an odd thing to say.
Yeah. On the Austin and Becca of it all he said was there was just no salvaging their relationship.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know how to read Austin. I feel like it's tough to read Austin. I'm not sure if he's kind of relieved that it's done and he's just trying to keep up appearances, or if he really wants to fight for this thing. I just think he doesn't
feel like giving the effort, because he said they haven't talked. There's still like there hasn't been that closure, right? But he's fine with that.
But at what point, if Becca tells you she doesn't want to talk to you, at what point do you be like, okay, I know you said you didn't want to talk to me, but I at least got to attempt to talk to you? Like, is there a point where you cross that boundary if you want to fight for it?
No, I don't think she would be mad at him for trying. Like, even saying like, I need that space. If he even acknowledged like, hey, it's been a month, I'm just checking. You don't even owe me a response. I'm just checking in with you. Just want to make sure you're okay. That type of thing.
It just feels like Austin's not going to get that message. He's not going to. He's
like, I don't think we're done.
I don't think he's even aware it's a thing he can do. He's just like, well, she said it was over, so it's over, right?
So I'm taking her at her word. That's it.
Yeah, just really, that's something definitely Austin would do.
Yeah, exactly. It was like,
I feel like she'll come back in a month and be like, he didn't even try to talk to me. I told him not to talk to me, but he didn't even try to talk to me. I feel like that would be a thing that she would say at some point. Yeah, I know I told you not to, but I would appreciate if you tried.
We may hear that at the reunion.
Yeah, well, it seems like they're all going to get together next episode, which, I know.
She said it's going to be tough seeing him. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said I didn't think they would, but I guess maybe they are celebrating Chloe and Michael's decision day, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Outcome that is.
They're like, last time we were together was the last decision day. How funny. So Emily, she says she's still not speaking to Brennan. She is getting ready for her trip to Hawaii. Brennan had quite a bit to say. So he was like, let's dive into it. Accusation number 1, deleting the diary.
He might as well brought a whole paper like, on the case of accusation number 1.
Right. Yeah, he said, I said delete it, but save it on your phone if you want to keep it. And then he's like,
He's a keeper for your records.
Right. Accusation number 2, double date with Cam. Cam told Claire those things and it just got twisted. And he's like, if you just want to pay me out to be the bad guy, then that's okay. And I just have no words. And I'm like, I wish he never would have brought up either one of those things, because then what would he be saying? Because that's all he's talking about here. That's all he's talking about on After Party. I'm like, did you forget that you weren't attracted to her and you wouldn't tell her and you all but implied it and you just wouldn't give her the decency to explain that? Did you forget all of the little arguments y'all had anytime Dr. Pia tried to make y'all try in y'all's relationship? Like, don't try to dumb it down to the diary room and the double date thing. Like, that were 2 examples that just came out. That was not the reason y'all didn't work. That wasn't the reason that Emily decided to just like that this wasn't going to work out for her.
I think it's even where he says, and after everything I did for her, after I saved her life, like, would you stop with the saved your life? You held onto her head. Anyone could have done that.
Yeah.
You didn't save anyone's life, my guy.
Then he says, like, oh, we were all on decision day, after decision day in the group. I just realized in that moment, the girls were just seeing red, and we just had to take all the blows, no matter how unfair and untrue those things were.
Always a victim.
Mm-hmm. So that's Brennan's side of things. And then continue to double down on After Party. Like, he's like, everything was fine. And then the double date thing with Cam. Then after that, that's when Emily just started, like, she basically saying that's when Emily decided that he wasn't for her. It's as if he was okay with not wanting her, but she wanted him, so he was fine with that. Well, and if they were to go all the way to decision day and for her to say yes and he said no, then he would just would have been like, it just didn't work. But the fact that she also was in a position to say no, that's what he doesn't like.
But in that case, he's totally forgetting the night before where they had dinner and he had that whole negative conversation. She stormed out.
Yes.
Like, he's totally just forgetting that. He's like, everything was great until the double date thing. No.
Mm-hmm.
You had already imploded by then. And the double date thing was like the last straw for her to tell you off, once and for all.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting how I think both Cam and Brennan kind of framed this on After Party to be like, the whole double date thing was obviously a joke, but this was obviously a way to, I guess, even the stakes because of Emily's indiscretion. They wanted to use the double date thing as an equal measure of that. So they really kind of twisted and made that into bigger than it was, so they could have some ammunition against Brennan, because Brennan had ammunition against Emily. And honestly, I was like, I think that's probably true. I think that is actually pretty accurate. That Claire and Emily probably was like, we got to get something that when he.
I mean, Cameron said it. Claire was was determined to ruin Brennan.
Yeah, like, I think that their whole plan was like, he's gonna come at us with this whole I kissed the Australian guy at the bar. So what can we do to equal that, to have our own ammunition? And Claire's like, you know what? Cameron joked the other day about Brennan and him going on a double date. We can just say that was a real thing, and we'll both cry. We'll both act like this was a big thing, and then that will be our, our thing against Brennan. I honestly, I would not be shocked if that was a conversation that was had.
Yeah, I saw somewhere it was like, who do you believe, the women or the men? And it was like, I don't think anyone is thinking that the double date actually happened. Like,
yeah, I mean, Brennan at the party was like, listen, the double date never happened. And Reed's like, oh, yeah, like, okay. Like,
that wasn't the point of concern.
Yeah. Never thought that happened.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm sure we'll hear much more of that on the reunion. With Chloe and Michael, Chloe says she could use a lot of help. She says she's not doing great. She said they looked for a home for post-decision day, and she wasn't prepared for, like, him to want to live apart in their marriage. She's like, usually she's very cool, calm, and collected and laid back. It's like, oh, that must be the Chloe we don't know. And she's like, but she's not willing to sacrifice her dignity to give him what he wants. And Becca's like, well, what are you going to do if he says no on decision day? She's like, I don't know. And then Michael's side of it, he says, he's like, I know my journey with Chloe hasn't been as hectic. It's like, how do you follow up after Brennan?
Like that was like you all just laid a lot on me. Like
right.
So like we haven't had any screen matches, we haven't had any big issues. So I guess
right. So we actually get along pretty well.
Like lucky.
Yeah. So he said he sees Decision Day as deciding to work on the marriage. And so he feels really torn. He doesn't know if he's ready for this next journey of living together and fostering children. And he's like, I'm not looking for the absence of like the feelings that I don't have. He's like, but he's hoping the optimism outweighs like all the doubts that he's feeling. Mm-hmm. And Brendan's like, I think you should just talk to Chloe.
It's like, that's a great idea. I'm going to go do that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. He said tonight. So
yeah.
Michael goes home. Chloe's in bed, sleep. He's like, hey, I was actually thinking right now would be a great time to talk.
I was like, yeah, because we all go to sleep with mic packs on.
yeah.
Yeah. Chloe was just having to be asleep with a cameraman in her room.
And so he said that he has been in a place of thinking about Decision Day in their future. And he feels like it's an appropriate time to share his feelings and where he's at.
Chloe, if I was Chloe, I'd be scared to death right now. I'd be like, is this a breakup before Decision Day? Like, we need to talk.
Right, because I'm like, both of y'all should have been sharing y'all's feelings along the way. Not like, okay, now's the time to share my feelings.
Yeah, right before Decision Day.
So he's like, he's wrestling with where he is emotionally, with wanting to continue to stay married because he underestimated how draining it would be to share the intensity of everything.
I said draining. That's quite a word to use. It's been draining. That to me is
that's a big word.
That's the sign of someone that you don't enjoy being around.
Yeah.
If it's draining.
Yeah.
To think about the future with them. I was like, oh wow, that's a lot more intense than I thought this even was. This whole episode. To use the word draining is like, wow, like you really don't want to do this.
Yeah. He said he's been surprised about the times that he's been drained, all the times he's been drained about thinking about the future. And Chloe was like, well, do you feel like you're actually ready to be married? And he's like, well, that's what I've been navigating. And so he says now he's starting to evaluate, like now he's really starting to evaluate everything. He's really questioning this marriage. And so she's like, okay, I need to process that. She's like, it feels like, she said it feels like her pushing like the moving together right away is what's making him question the marriage. Yeah. And so and bringing up these doubts. And so he said, like, he was like, look, this is just where we have to lean in introspectively to find those answers.
Brother.
And so she starts crying. She says she didn't know, or we get a confessional and she's like, she didn't know about how she was feeling about this stuff until he brought it up. And she tells him she doesn't want him to give up too quickly, or like she doesn't want them to give up too quickly. And so she's like, please just, can we agree to not make a decision until Decision Day? He's like, I can commit to that.
I thought it was interesting. She tells him like, I didn't know that I didn't know until you just brought this up. I said,
oh yeah, she did say that to him. It wasn't confessional. Yeah, she said. I thought I remembered her saying that in confessional, but
I think she probably said. I think she said both. But it's like you had no thought about this before he brought this up.
Right.
Like this is what triggered you to actually think about it. Like, all right,
yeah,
weird. Okay.
So that's it for them. We get a next time on. The girls are doing some type of photo shoot. Becca's still Mrs. Austin. We get Chloe and Michael's Decision Day finally. And Chloe was telling her friend, like, there are parts of her that can't imagine a life without Michael. And then at Decision Day, she's telling that, like, the experts and him, she's like, with me, I'm either all in or I'm all out. So
yeah, listen, I can't wait for next week for many reasons. That preview, like, all right, I'm in. I'll be back. I'll be back next episode. Looks like we're doing some boudoir shots. My guess is Becca's probably taking some boudoir shots of the ladies. I was like,
oh, probably taking it of them.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, all right. All right. See y'all next Wednesday.
Oh my god,
I'll be there.
Oh my goodness.
Me and Pastor Cal.
Both. I say, okay, creepy Pastor Cal. But yeah, I don't. Okay, I guess this is our last chance to predict what we think will happen with Michael and Chloe. So, do you think it'll be a yes or a no on decision day for each of them?
Let's see. I think it's going to be a no
for both of them.
Well, when one says no.
Well, I'm saying but that's what we say. Who do you think will say yes or no?
I think they both say no. I think Chloe has now sussed out that Michael's going to say no. So she's going to meet his no with a no.
I think it depends. I think if Chloe goes first, she will say yes. But I think if Michael goes first and he says no, then she's going to act like she was going to say no all along.
I think that Chloe is now spooked. And I think that she thinks he's going to say no. So I think even if she goes first, she'll say no. And it'd be funny if she says no. Michael's like, oh, that's
I was actually going to say yes.
I was going to say yes. Oh, I changed my answer.
She's like, no, yeah, no. Yeah. What do you say?
She's like trying to read his eyes like, no.
Right. Yes? Like pull a Micah on Love is Blind. You go first.
Yeah, I would like you to go first.
You're right. Yeah, that's what I think. I think if Chloe goes first, she'll say yes and he'll say no. But I think if he goes first, he'll say no and she'll say no.
Okay. I'm down with that.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for sticking with us. I know this wasn't the most exciting episode, but we tried to do what we could do.
We kept under 2 hours. You know, that's rare for us. So
yes. So make sure y'all subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. Make sure you go join the Facebook group where the password this week is inauthentic allegations. Jason, what are you up to? Where can people find you?
You can find me on this here podcast every week. You can find me on Twitter at JAYR1085. As we said earlier in the pod, we did finish up the Love is Blind coverage, me and Mary Kwiatkowski. So if you're catching up on Love is Blind or you haven't checked out any of our coverage, go back and check that out. Also, this week on the recap kickback, I joined Chappelle, Mari, and Tyrone to do the second part of the Black TV theme song bracket for March Madness. We had a very fun time with that podcast. Some unexpected people making it through some rounds, so I think some people will be very surprised at some of the choices made, some of these songs, the theme songs that got through. So check that out as well. It's a very fun time. How about you, Aysha?
Yeah, so y'all can follow me everywhere at Aysha like Asia. That's AYSHA like ASIA. And you can find me here every week. I think we have next week's decision day. And then we saw that there is a former cast tell-all the next week. And then I think we finally have the 2-part reunion. So I think right now it's looking like the 2-part reunion will be April 10th and April 17th. And then I don't imagine anything after that. So we will see.
I don't know. I keep seeing this in commercials. I keep seeing this moment.
Said that, and I have not seen that once.
I keep seeing this moment where Brendan is at some kind of bar. There's a mystery lady. I don't know who the lady is next to him at the bar. And then I also see Emily crying, walking away from said bar. So
that could be next week.
Could be. I feel like if it was, they would have shown it to us in the previews. But I feel like that might be a Where They Now special, honestly. Like after the reunion, they want to show us 6 months after Decision Day what we're going to be getting into. So
we'll see.
I don't know. I think if they can stretch it, they're going to stretch it.
Wow.
If they can get us to 30, if they can get us to 30 episodes, they're going to do it.
They still have not given us any news about season 18, so we don't know when that'll be. I know that's Chicago.
Right. We did get news about Austin. That Austin is actually apparently going to be older people. Not just one couple, but they're all going to be older, apparently.
That'll be good because they are the Golden Bachelor contestants. Yeah. They are milking that. Those women have been they were all up in this current season of The Bachelor, like giving advice, hosting competitions and stuff.
Oh, really?
They love. Yeah.
So not even just the guy, just
no, we haven't
contestant?
seen him, and we haven't seen the girl that the woman that he picked. It's
Are they
been
still
the
together?
contestant. Yeah, they got married.
Oh, well, oh
They,
yeah, I
like,
did hear about
televised
that.
their wedding,
Yeah.
yeah, and so it's, like, the contestants, like, the
Wow,
favorites, yeah, from the season keep
that's
coming back,
interesting.
and so I'm really wondering because I think they announced they are doing the Golden Bachelorette, so I'm like, I wonder
Mhm.
who they're gonna pick. I wonder, are they looking at the
Clay's mom,
reception?
Clay's mom, get Clay's mom in there.
I wonder, are they looking at, like, the reception of people? So, anyway, well, that'll be interesting because 'cause that'll be very different.
Very,
We
yeah.
won't have to deal with as much immaturity as we dealt with this
God, do you
season.
think there'll be like grown up kids that we're gonna have to contend with? That'd be so fascinating.
Oh, well, yeah, they probably do have adult kids.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's
I'm
what
down
that
for
was
that.
that's how it was on Golden Bachelor.
Yeah, I'm down for that. It'll definitely be something to switch things up, which is
Yeah,
painfully needed.
yeah. But yes, we will be back next week to talk about Decision Day Part 2. So come back and have some fun. But yeah, until next week, we'll see you then. Bye.